Hi, Kinsey. I wanted to leave you some feedback on essay four, your critical analysis. I think you have some really good points in this essay, and some good ways of phrasing uh, some of the things that Tan explores in this essay. So as a whole, I think that it works well. Um, there's some things here and there that I'd like to share with you um, in terms of how to make this a little stronger. Whenever you draft a summary, you want to make sure that you state the article title directly in the text to provide enough context for the reader. I think that you have uh, some good general ideas about the summary of the article, but I wish that these were a little more concrete, uh, particularly because the thesis is. I like the ideas in general, but without enough really concrete detail here, the thesis is a little bit abstract. Um, so I like the idea of her journey of accepting her intimate speech. This part about the battle that she fights with herself is kind of unclear, as is the true power of language. Um, so I kind of wish that these ideas were more clearly and concretely explored in the summary. Um, I recommend maybe rethinking some of the ways that her mother's English is described. Um, because note that Tan might uh, not agree with the way that the language is described here, right? Specifically, that you're bringing in the evidence that she's saying she really does not like that um it's discussed as broken or limited, right? Or even malformed would suggest some kind of deformity, which also suggests that somebody is less than. Um, and so I would kind of rethink how you yourself are describing her language choices or your descriptions, if particularly you're aligning with the evidence that Tan brings into the text. Because in some ways it's kind of contradictory. In addition, you want to make sure that you are integrating your evidence and creating a clear signal phrase at the beginning or a parenthetical citation at the end instead of marking it as if it were dialogue in speech. So you want to make sure that you're setting up your signal phrases correctly. Right. You got the same thing going on here. I do think that your response to the evidence is strong, and I also think that your transitions between paragraphs are strong as well. Um, there's a few places here and there, like here, where I really wish that you had some more evidence to support the idea. I know what you're talking about here, but I just wish that you brought in um, a little bit more. I love this idea. Yeah, and this is if you know anything about this author, this is she describes herself as such. She rebelled against all rules, including her mother's rules and expectations for herself. So I think you captured an excellent description of this author. If you don't know anything about her and you liked this essay, I would recommend digging into her more. The Joy Luck Club is probably her most famous novel, and it's a pretty interesting read. Um, uh, I wish that there was a clearer conclusion here in terms of your own discussion, right? Especially because you have like these pretty broad ideas here, and I'm not quite sure that we've rectified what the journey is, the battle that's fought, and now what the true power is. So I wish that all of that was more clearly brought to a close in the conclusion. Um, so like you summarize the conclusion of Tan's text, but I think as a reader, I want to know what your final assessment of the story is. Um, Make sure that you're using MLA format when you create your bibliographic entry. So really what you need here is the author's last name, um, first followed by the author's name, and then the article title and quotation marks. Um, so I think it's a good draft. It just has a little bit of tweaking to get there. All right, thanks.